To be gone this week. Oh. Kelsey? Your vacation got.
Yeah, I told Kendra that this weekend was going to be the best weekend of your life. You know, because the last case that I had
she's normally like
came
that.
closest to trial on
We're
was we
fine
settled it the Friday
form,
before
right? Yep, go ahead.
the Monday trial.
Yeah.
So, and that weekend was just all of a sudden 180 degrees, you know.
Yeah, it was 180 degrees. I felt a huge weight lifted.
Mm-hmm.
I think we're going to start. Call this meeting to order. We have an agenda. If everyone has that, if we can get a motion to approve the agenda.
So moved.
Yeah. Do you have a second?
Second.
Yeah. Any other discussion? If not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Okay, we have two sets of meeting minutes. I think we can do them in the same motion unless there's any changes or additions from May 23rd and June 1st. So the regular meeting in May and a June 1st special meeting.
Motion to approve the minutes.
Okay, do we have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Okay. Our first public hearing, all parties have agreed to continue to July 25th. That was for Platt Properties. So we'll move on to our second public hearing, which is Greg and Bethany Hessness, and which I'm probably saying wrong. And it's a variance to build an addition that does not meet the rear yard setbacks. So do you want to go for that?
Good evening, members of the Planning Commission. Bear with me while I stand in for Karin and while we're trying to find ourselves a new city planner. She has left me with all of the notes, and we also have the applicants here in the audience should they need to answer any questions. So, first up, the address itself is 507 West Maple Avenue. This is a pretty old part of town. So the request is for the property owners to get a variance to build an addition that is not meeting the required rear yard setback. The property owners would like to construct a 14-foot by 42-foot two-bedroom addition on the east side of the dwelling. So here is a map for context. Spruce Street down there, which I now see is spelled incorrectly, and then Maple Avenue. Oh wait, hang on, I'm supposed to talk more here. All right, so all adjacent uses are detached residential dwellings. You can see on the aerial image, the dwelling is set very far back on the property line. Again, this is an old part of town. Things were done differently. The lot and structure are considered legally non-conforming, but they were platted and built prior to the city's subdivision and zoning regulations. The current dwelling is 4 feet from the rear property line, and the minimum rear yard setback is 33 feet, requiring a variance of 29 feet. The subject property is zoned R2, 1 and 2 family residence district. All adjacent parcels are also zoned R2. So this is a staff depiction of the addition's size and location based on the drawing provided in the application. There were no City of Fergus Falls staff comments made. There were no comments or questions that we received from anyone in the public. And based on the findings listed in the staff report, staff recommend approval without any conditions. And now I will open it up for questions from Planning Commission and an opportunity for the applicants to speak.
I just have one question. Years ago, probably 3 planners ago, we had something where, and the question came up, and I don't even think it came to us, but if it didn't go beyond the existing rear lot line, they didn't need to do an application. So if this is lining up with the existing location, have things changed, or was that maybe not? Do you know what I mean? Like if it's no further back.
I see what you're saying. I am not aware of that case, but...
Okay, and that's fine. I just was curious because I think it was basically like it's no more of a variance than what...
Right, what's already there.
Right, so that was why I was just curious.
Yeah, no, that's a really interesting question, and I think we should probably research that a little bit. This will not affect you guys today,
No, no.
just for our own internal
Fine.
processing. So, thank you, Laurel. Any other questions? Oops. Would you guys like to say anything?
Should we open the public hearing?
Yes.
Okay, if nothing else from the commission, we'll open the public hearing. You guys want to speak? Just state your name and address.
Craig Hessness, 507 West Maple Avenue. As you can see, we're just looking to do a small addition. The length of the house, 14 feet out. Pretty straightforward. and we weren't aware that we had to do this, so we're just kind of jumping through the hoops and hoping we get approval. So,
Sounds good. Any questions for the applicant? Okay, thank you so much. Would anyone else like to speak on this matter? No? Then we will close the public hearing and bring it back to the commission for comments or action. No discussion. Do we have a motion?
Motion to approve the condition, or without conditions.
Okay, do we have a second?
Second.
Any other discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Okay, it's not a final decision from us. It'll go to city council. So, our step is done, and good luck with your build, and
thank you so much.
Thank you guys for coming.
we will move on to our second public hearing, which is the Roger Rosengren application for moving a building to 1104 East Mount Faith.
Yes, so the request is from property owner Roger Rosengren to move an existing building, a detached dwelling, from 613 East Channing Avenue to 1104 East Mount Faith Avenue. The dwelling is 26 feet wide and 42.5 feet deep, or approximately 1,105 square feet. The dwelling is on land owned by Crossroads Church. The parties have entered into a private transaction to transfer ownership. The detached garage on the property will not be moved. So the subject property is currently vacant land. A residential dwelling on the lot was demolished in 2007, and adjacent uses are residential detached 1- and 2-story dwellings. There we go. The subject property is zoned R1, one family residence district, and all adjacent parcels are all zoned R1. These are photos of the dwelling provided by the applicant. As a reminder, the detached garage will not be moved with the property. The building is a 1-story residential dwelling on a basement foundation. The applicant will also dig a basement at 1104 East Mount Faith Avenue. The image was created by staff based on a drawing submitted with the application. It was shared with the applicant, who stated the map is an accurate representation of their intention for building placement. The dwelling is proposed to sit in the northeast corner of the lot. The dwelling will be oriented parallel to East Mount Faith Avenue, which runs diagonally at this location. The front setback line will be determined by the string line setback, which is the white line on the image. At the northwest corner, the front setback will be at 27 feet and 22 feet at the northeast corner. The side setback at the northeast corner will be 13 feet and 23 feet at the southeast corner. The applicant will build a garage at a future time. And in speaking with the applicant today, it sounds like it will be a 2-car garage that will be attached to the dwelling and will also have a new entryway. The proposed route is to travel along East Channing Avenue, Pebble Lake Road, South Peck Street, East Riverside Avenue, and onto East Mount Faith Avenue. There is no proposed move date at this point. The general window is mid to late July. City rules just ask that they let us know about 10 days before the move so we can ensure that all the proper parties are notified, including the police department who oversees the move. There were no City of Fergus Falls staff comments, but we did get a comment/question today from a Lyle Longton, who is another resident along East Mount Faith. His question was in regard to the use of the building, if it would be used for a rental or if it would be a single-family home. Mr. Rosengren answered that for us today via phone. He said that the intention is for it to be a single-family home. And I believe we also have someone in the audience who can speak to that usage as well. And his other question had to do with parking regulations. We sent code information to Mr. Longton and explained that the house moving process really wouldn't have an opportunity for him to comment on that at that time. So, based on the and no other comments were received from the public. Based on the findings listed in the staff report, staff recommend approval with conditions. The applicant shall comply with the requirements of City Code 150.090 and 150.091, which are our moving requirements for buildings. These sections of the ordinance are the logistical and technical requirements involved with the actual building move. I will now take questions.
Are there any questions for Clara? If not, we will open the public hearing. Thanks, Clara. If you'd like to speak on this, just state your name and address, please.
I'm Matt Mosier. I actually live outside city limits. I don't know.
That's okay. If you can just say your address for the record, that'd be great.
What is my address? 25212 County Highway 124.
Thanks.
So I represent Crossroads Church. I'm also representing Roger Rosengren. We have been trying to get rid of this building for a while. We're trying to build a new youth center, and this is kind of holding us up to get it off the lot. The first contractor that was going to take it didn't know that these permits were required, and he kind of backed out on us. So Roger kind of stepped in last minute to help us out and get this thing moving. So yeah, his plan is to probably it's going to stay a single family. He has no intention to rent it or do anything like that with it, and kind of do a full overhaul on the house and bring it up to make it a modern, nice house. Is his plan. And everything else you said seemed accurate to me. So, any questions about the move or who's moving it, or he has all that arranged and everything's all ready to go.
Thanks for coming tonight.
Okay.
Seeing no one else here to comment, we will close the public hearing and bring it back to the commission.
Motion to approve with the condition as stated.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Okay. Any other discussion? If not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Thank you so much. So it'll move on.
You guys have a good night.
You too. We will go to Clara for our final public hearing, the next building moving project. 'Tis the time of year.
This is going much more smoothly than I anticipated. Which makes me happy. All right. Too soon. Okay. So we have another application for a building move. I guess 'tis the season, but 805 East Channing Avenue. So the applicant here is Rognus Contracting Services. They are applying on behalf of property owner Hillcrest Lutheran Academy. So they've been handling all of the bits and pieces of the transaction. They are hoping to move an existing building, a school classroom building from 1319 North Cleveland Avenue, which is on the premises of the Nazarene Church, to 805 East Channing Avenue. The structure is a one-story, 28-foot by 56-foot classroom building. Hillcrest Lutheran Academy and Morning Sun Christian Academy recently merged. As part of the merger, Hillcrest acquired Morning Sun's assets, including the classroom building, which is located on land owned by Church of the Nazarene. So the subject property was most recently the location of LB Homes Administrative Building. This is the subject property where it will be moving. Of LB Homes Administrative Building. It was also Eisenhower Elementary before this, a public school before it was purchased by LB Homes. The building will now be redeveloped back into a school for preschool through 4th grade private school. The adjacent parcel to the west is city-owned Higgins Dog Park, and the adjacent parcel to the east is vacant land under common ownership with the subject property. The adjacent parcels to the south are detached residential dwellings, and to the north is Grotto Lake. The subject property is zoned R4, Multiple Family Residence District. The adjacent parcel to the west is zoned R2, 1 and 2 Family Residence District. The adjacent parcel to the east is zoned R4, Multiple Family Residence District. The 3 adjacent properties to the south across East Channing Avenue are zoned R1, 1 Family Residence District. If you are curious why the parcel is zoned R4, it's because there was at one point a proposed senior housing apartment project for LB Homes back in, I think, 2010. So we think that they must have obtained that zoning then to ensure that that project could happen, but things obviously changed and it went back to being an administrative building for LB Homes. Okay. So these are photos of the classroom building and the view of where the building will be sited at 805 East Channing Avenue. The drawing was provided by the applicant and shows the location and orientation of the building on the site. The classroom building will sit behind the school at the northwest corner of the building. There will be 20 feet between the main building and the classroom building. The location complies with all R4 setback requirements. So the proposed move date is between July 11th through the 15th. The proposed route is to travel along East Fir Avenue, North Union Avenue, East Vernon Avenue, South Sheridan Street, and East Channing Avenue. The applicant has been reminded of the ongoing construction for mill and overlay and the pedestrian improvements along North Union Avenue, which we do not know for sure will be completed by this point in July. So we're staying in communication, and they are aware that that's still happening. So there were no City of Fergus Falls staff comments, and there were no comments or questions that we received from the public. So based on the findings listed in the staff report, staff recommend approval with conditions. The applicant shall comply with the requirements of City Code 150.090 and 150.091. Again, those are the sections of ordinance that deal with the logistics and technical requirements with the building move. So now I will open it up for questions.
Any questions for Clara?
Is this intended to be a permanent fixture on that property, or are they using this as a temporary solution while they do their remodel, if you will?
That's a good question. We've never asked that specifically, I don't think, but my guess would be that it would be permanent.
Okay.
Or at least last for quite some time.
Any other questions? No? Okay. I think we have to probably open the public hearing, and then we're going to close the public hearing and bring it back to the commission.
I move we approve with conditions
Okay.
as stated.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Okay. Any other discussion? If not, all those in favor? Go ahead.
So I have a conflict on this one that I'm going to have to abstain from voting, just for the record.
Okay. And we still have a quorum, so we should be fine voting still, correct? We should have one extra, right?
Yep, I think you're good.
Yep. Okay. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Okay. That passes with one abstention. Okay, we will move on to staff update on transitional housing.
Yes. At the last Planning Commission meeting, I believe it was the last Planning Commission meeting, the Transitional Housing Subcommittee was requested to reconvene, so I'm just giving an update that we will be meeting July 7th. We have invited the Chief of Public Safety Officer, Kyle Berggren, and we've also invited some members of the county offices that deal with the licensing for different forms of group homes, etc., and that also deal with other housing issues. So we will be meeting on July 7th. I figured I could also take this time to just give you guys an update on the planner search. We do have an open call currently for applicants. We have received several, and it looks like we will probably be reaching out to a few and doing some interviews in the coming week. So the search continues. But thank you guys for working with me
You
tonight.
did great.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Anything else for us? Anyone else have anything? Okay, if not, motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Okay, Kelsey, we're out of here. Thank you.
Thank you guys.